Right, okay, we're looking at the ENC MP049B, and this is their upgraded gearbox. And you can always tell immediately, you can tell by the fully metal, I think this might even be a brass nozzle, and the stainless steel 3/4 cylinder. Okay, so let's I'm just gonna fly through, and I'm just gonna I haven't seen one of these in a long time, so let's have a look. Okay, so first thing you want to do is take out the spring, and that's quite got a hefty spring in it, so I think it's going to be around, come on you bastard, here we go. Now what you can do, it's a lot easier, is what you can do is just put a screw in there and then unscrew it. So yeah, so that's a 120 or maybe even a 130. It's really quite strong. Okay, so they're not bad springs actually, ENCs, straight from the box. You can see the quality of the zinc coating is really good. So I'm not entirely too sure what the quality of the steel is like underneath that, and in fact that's why a lot of companies do put some zinc coating on, because it does hide the quality of the steel. So okay, all right, let's take these off. Okay, take these off. And they've always used these torque bits here, these torque heads, and some people like them, some people don't like them. That's all right. You can like them or dislike them. Some people prefer the crosshead ones because they're a little bit easier to use. Okay, let's take that off. Let's take these ones out before I do the mag cut off lever. So let's get that out there. I have loosened some of these. Okay, they were quite tight from the factory. Okay, there's that one. This one here. Okay. Okay. Take out our little fella here. Here we go. The spring, like that. Again, these are good replacement gearboxes, because you don't have to use this part. If your gearbox doesn't use it, then there's no reason to, you don't have to fret about it. Okay, let's take that off. They're still selling these with Tamiya's though, which is a bit of a pain. I probably should have asked them to just send me some without. Okay, let's pop those there. Okay, and then you're always going to want a little screwdriver, a little flathead, and just to prise it here. And there's not going to be any MOSFET in here. Yeah, no MOSFETs, no ETUs. Pop that down like that. There we go. That's it. There's our standard ENCs. Probably the best, out of all the ones that I've come across, probably the best made ones on the market. The strongest ones. You can see these newer ones. They've got the slits here, so you can see a little bit more about where it is. It's got a little bit more of a reinforced front end here. It's like another little panel here that they've just slipped in on both sides. Okay, they still haven't done the radius and of the corners here, but something you can do if you want. Okay, so these ones, let's take that out. There we go. So we've got the 14 tooth piston, full metal rack on there. Yeah, the aluminium piston head. got a thrust bearing inside there. Okay, so you've got a thrust bearing on here as well. You've got a thruster bearing on here and one on here, so you technically don't need both really, so you could lose the one on here. It might, you know, that will maybe free up the gearbox, reduce its power a little bit. It gives you a little bit of leeway. Nice firm tappet plate spring. Okay, yeah, the usual. Always quite like their they were normally in red, the last ones I had. These are quite nice, quite like them. That does feel like brass. That's really interesting, actually. That is really interesting. You probably can't see that, but that's got two. It's got two O-rings in there, but they're spaced apart, and they're at least 2 mil, maybe 2.5 mil spaced apart. And the normal ones that you buy, they're always right next to each other. So this one is probably going to be, well, there's a little bit of wobble there, but you're going to get a little bit more stability, I think, out of that. That could maybe do. You could perhaps go up a level with the O-ring, but you don't want it, again, you don't want to make it too hard. It should seal quite well. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So if you're ever doing a compression test, you've got to give it some, push it fairly fast. But yeah, it's really good. Really good compression on there. Okay, let's take that out. Let's have a look. That's a nice little upgrade that they've done. They've got a cushion pad on here. That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, that swivels round like that. So I don't know exactly how it's sealed down. Yeah, how do they get that to stick and stay? I mean, I can't pull it off. Yeah. Oh, here we go. What's this? There we go. That's how they've done it. Wow, that was in there quite tight. I get why they did that, because finding a decent glue that will adhere to brass. I think this is brass, and I don't know why they use brass. Maybe brass is super cheap. Maybe it's cheaper than aluminium, and they save a few pennies that way. But that's really good. That means that you can change that quite easily. It's got a little groove in there. I like that. And you can notice as well, it goes further out to the edge, so you're getting a little bit more air volume from this, as you would normally do. Yeah, I quite like that. And then let's see if it goes on. Okay, yeah, pretty well. I mean, hopefully that doesn't come off. I mean, you can glue it down if you wanted. I do have some really good glue that I found. Hang on, let's have a look. Okay, I'm covered in grease at the moment. Let's have a look. Where's that glue that I found? It took me ages to find a decent glue. This stuff I got from Amazon. So it's a rubber special glue. Rubber special glue. Great. I don't know who. I don't know where it's made and what country, but it is really good. It is really good. Oh, it's made in China. Funny enough, in Shenzhen. But brilliant. Yeah, it's such a good glue. It says rubber glue, but I found it works on a lot of different materials. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's put that one there. What else have we got here? Like I said, we've got the standard old trigger block. I believe they are putting in ETUs now, aren't they? Of course. In fact, I've got some that I need to check out. Yeah. So let's have a look. Well, we don't need to take that out for a start. And I mean, this is one downside to having this. Is always a problem. We have such a good gearbox case, but it's never quite, doesn't have all the parts that you really like. And you can see on this one here, it doesn't have, if I pull that up there, it doesn't have the wire channel in here. So like the ZCI one has a nice wire channel that nice cut out there, and with a little notch you can sort of like push this bottom wire underneath it. Really handy. What I will say about these gears, these are their upgraded gears now, that they supposedly they're CNC cut. And I imagine this part here, when they say CNC cut, the bottom level here is this top part here, perhaps. Let's have a look, closer look. Yeah, perhaps this is injection molded, but the bottom part, that's a CNC cut. There, the spur gear, that would be, yeah. So look, grease. Yeah, nice bit of grease, nice bit of shims on there. I've only got, I think, one shim. Oh, hang on, one top of the bevel, none on the bottom bevel. Again, this part here, so that top part should be made of a slightly harder material here. And let me zoom in and have a quick look. Okay, yeah. So let's have a look at this part here. Again, this looks to me like it's fully what they call, I guess, CNC machined. I imagine it's I imagine in the past they've had more problems with their old gears breaking, especially on the spurs, you know, losing one of these teeth, and that's it, pretty much game over. And this one, yeah, they're not bad gears. I mean, they're pretty decent, I imagine. I have tried them before in the past, and I haven't had any problems. I don't remember any problems. Definitely not worth spending another 16-20 quid on brand new gears when you've got these in there. So pretty decent. So these ones, obviously, with the trigger block here, you've got the cut off leather. Yeah, and that's it. Okay, yeah, pretty good. So hope you found that as interesting as I did. Oh, hang on, stainless steel spring guide as ever. These ones are quite neat, because what I quite like about these particular ones, which have the 4 teeth, is that if you're doing some testing, if you're doing a brand new gun, you can put you can kind of put that just in on its own and test it without having to put the stock I was going to say the stock cube, but the stock tube back, and it will just stay in its place. You know, won't tend to wobble as much as like one with the 2 leg. So that's the real benefit of having one with a 4 feet on. But anyway, and these are generally roughly made. Underneath here, you'll just have a core. You have a core rod, and then you can sort of like, you can, with some glue, and you can actually get these off if they have these problems with this. But who has problems with that? Yep. Cylinder. Yep. Again, decent enough cylinders. They make some decent cylinders, I think. ENC, for the money, pretty decent. Bit sharp on the outside there, but yeah, you know, you can always get a little bit of sandpaper and sand it down if you wanted to. Okay.